Hello and welcome. My name is John Cassidy-Rice. I'm the founder of the popular and more importantly successful NLP Business Practitioner that you could take anywhere in the world today. What is it about NLP that when applied correctly in a business scenario can impact the bottom line? What do our NLP business practitioners know and do, and what really works so you can achieve more in your professional life and personal life? What could you and I do to amplify our performance in life? So you might be at a point in your career where you're dealing with difficult teams or underperforming teams and you need a set of skills to be able to turn that team around. Now you might be at a point where your career's stalled and you're feeling a lack of motivation, and what you're after is more direction, more clarity and impact. So you might even want to take your career and business to the next level and have a higher purpose than just turning up for a paycheck. And you may wish to join the elite high performers and work with people who are energized and who are living a fulfilled life. Tap into something deeper so that you're bolder, more courageous, so that you can do more during the day and still have energy at the end of the day to live a fulfilling life. The NLP Business Practitioner is not what I think that works. It's based on thousands of students applying the core skills that we teach them to their professional lives. And I'd like to share some of those secrets with you. Now, I run several businesses, but I'm the least likely person to be able to be doing this. So I don't know if you know anything about my story. Maybe we could just quickly run through that. So, when I was younger, my parents are hippies. Love and peace, man. And everything that went with being a hippie, all the good things, but also the downside of that. And there was a real strong drug culture, unfortunately. And I remember some of my earliest memories were visiting drug dens. And though me and my brother really didn't go without food, there was always something that we could eat. I know my parents often went without food to pay for the drugs. It's heartbreaking the effect that drugs can have on any loving family. But I do know my parents loved and cared for me. Even though we had things like homemade clothes, basic homemade clothes at that, and you know your parents are doing the best, but when you're dressed in basic homemade clothes at school, children are not always the kindest of people when you stand out from everyone else. And also, during the Christmases and my birthdays, I had homemade presents. You know, as an adult, I look back and I really appreciate with fond memories some of those presents my parents made me. But you know what? As a kid, what I really wanted was a $6 Million Man action figure. So, yeah, it was tough. And then on top of that, I had learning difficulties, so I was labelled at school as being dyslexic, which is a hard word to spell, because even if you can spell, that's a hard word to spell. And I had low self-esteem. I was the shyest person you'd ever want to meet. And it wasn't until my early 20s that I started to turn my life around. So what did that for me? What started to turn my life around? It was discovering NLP. A couple of core ideas, and one of those core ideas is that you take responsibility for your life. You have the ability to respond. Now, intellectually knowing that and being able to implement that is worlds apart often. And I think one of the greatest gifts of NLP is that it gives you the tools to be able to take responsibility and do something and control your thoughts that's going through your mind. And you know, you don't just learn that once. I had to learn it several times. So as I started to move forward and really break those bonds from my past, you know, just to share with you again, I remember going to the signing on office, to the dole office with my dad one day when I was real little. And my dad, I know he was only joking, but as he signed for his cheque so that we could survive, he would say, "This will be your trade one day, son." How scary is that? And it kind of mind-boggling, because you can see where generations get caught into this trap. So breaking free of that was difficult, and they needed the tools that NLP brought to be able to do that. So I'm passionate about this stuff, and I've had to learn that several times, because as I started building my first business, what looked like at one point is all going to be taken away from me and I was going to go into bankruptcy, and I started to feel this kind of victim mode yet again. But I applied the tools I learned. I used the thinking phase, because it wasn't the situation so much. The problems, they can be overcome. What is more challenging is what's going on inside your head. So by adjusting my thinking processes and my language, I've now run it was a training company I was about to lose. So I run a training company. It's an international training company which I get to work with individuals, small companies and large companies. I get to travel the world. It's very exciting, and I run several other businesses along the side of that. So I'm passionate about this. So what we've done for you is to pull together the best of NLP, the best of psychology, the best, most comprehensive best practices within business, so that you can apply them to what you do and your career. So in this video, I'd like to share some of those core ideas with you. And we're going to look at 4 main areas, which encompass huge amounts that will cover and master and be comprehensive training that we do for the NLP Business Practitioner. Now, out of these 4, what I would say is point 4 is probably the most powerful. And if you walk away having mastered this, well, even just got an idea and the basics of this, it will make you stand out from everyone else. So if you're part of a team and you want to be able to be effective, this is a core skill. If you're a team leader, a manager, you'll have people want to work for you and do the very best for you. If you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, you'll notice that this will be a key skill. And this supports everything else as a key skill. So we'll get to that in a moment. But let's explore some of the key areas that I believe will bring you success in your business and personal life. These are core skills for personal life as well. But this is the NLP Business Practitioner we're talking about, so let's apply it to those areas. Now, the first area, which is key to success in all areas of life, is communication. Communication with yourself and others. And one of the greatest predictors of success in any endeavour is how you communicate and use language. And that's language in 2 places. Language inside your own head and with other people. So communication is multi-level. So a lot of communications happens at an unconscious level, outside of conscious awareness, as well as conscious communication. And our goal as we go through the NLP Business Practitioner is to work on this multi-level communication and have a genuine feedback loop. Now, have you noticed that in today we can communicate in more ways than ever, whether that's electronically or even in person? And yet it's still one of the #1 challenges that we have when running a business. So we're going to be exploring various different areas where you can improve your communication, and some of them will have a quantum leap in effectiveness, and some will be little tweaks and nudges in certain areas. And at the same time, you'll be mastering the key skill of persuasion, ethical persuasion. So we know that communication is a core skill. Next, which supports all of that, will be psychology. Psychology. When you part of a team, when you're having to manage a team, lead a team, run your own business, or if you're entrepreneurial and you're thinking of starting a business, one of the key parts is, can you understand people and individuals? We're going to have a whole range of tools to help you tap in and understand, so that you can tap into natural motivational patterns, employ value systems that motivate others, and really tap into beliefs and limiting beliefs and what you can do about those. Very exciting. Next, all this is all well and good, but this next area is going to be key to your success in your career. And yet this area often produces a lot of resistance from people who do not want to succeed, who kind of want this easy life, and often naysayers. So by mastering this, you will stand out from the crowd, and it's one of the areas that is so important to your success in a business, at work, and in life. And it is productivity. If you do not produce anything, if you don't get things done, then how are you going to expect to be successful in anything? So it's no good just talking about implementing new systems and processes at work. You've got to do something with it. If at the end of the day, at the deadlines, if you're a car manufacturer, you do not produce cars, you've not been productive. Doesn't matter what's happening within the team, how happy people are, how well they communicate, how well they feel understood and appreciated. If the end result is not there, nothing happens. So what we're going to do is take all of these and apply it to productivity so that you get things done, so you can inspire people to take action and implement. And that means things like how to give instructions. What about meetings? Can we have productive meetings? Oh my word! Have you noticed how much time is wasted within meetings? But if you ever work out how much it costs to have a meeting, that is a scary figure. It really is. So can you apply the communication skills, the psychology to get much better meetings, more productive meetings? Often you can shorten a 40-minute meeting down to 15 to 20 minutes and still be more productive. So I get excited about these things. You can see that. Now this next skill, which I say is a master skill, especially if you want to progress in your career. If you want to be a great team leader, a manager that people want to work for, a business. Do you want to run a business that goes to the next level rather than making this or that the gadget thing, and you just churn out stuff? You want to impact people's lives. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to join the realms of the high-flight elite leaders in the world. This is a core skill to master. And yet it sounds counterintuitive, and you go into a business place and people resist using it. But time and time again, I've seen people who are amazingly successful in what they do utilize this. I don't know what you're thinking. What is that master skill, John? Just show it. Okay, just for you. Story. Are you a storyteller? Do you understand the structure and the mechanisms that go behind creating a story that's effective in a business scenario? So we're not talking about once upon a time there's a princess that saved the world, and as wonderful as those stories are and entertaining as those stories are, that's not going to fly within the business setting. Maybe unless you're Disney, then it may do, or DreamWorks. So here, probably you and I, we're not going to be telling those stories. We're going to be telling stories that have been designed to impact the workplace and inspirational, to get people sold into the idea. So great marketers and salespeople use this, as well as managers and team leaders. And it works. And it works often when you have data to give people. Now data can come across as dry, but there's a story behind that data. And can we translate that? We're going to look at methods for doing that. We're going to look at methods for, maybe you've got somebody on the team or somebody who works for you who's underperforming, or maybe there's even a colleague and they've been given advice and yet they haven't followed through on the advice. If you just carry on saying the same things and expecting a different result, well, that's a sign of madness. So how can we go about it? How can we change it when somebody's resistant to change? Well, you can use story. And it should sound very natural. It should sound like, so when we were working on Project X and we had Tony who was doing this procedure, it should be just sound like you're talking about what you would talk about at work, but also maybe what you may talk about just normal chit-chat. We're going to show you how to design a story that will change people's thinkings and beliefs. Wow, very powerful stuff. We'll also show you a bigger story arc that if you're taking a team or a group of people through any change or transformation, you can design a story that will track that pretty much, you can't guarantee anything in life, but pretty much guarantee that you can tell where they are in that process of change and create a story that resonates with them. Very powerful stuff. So why does this story stuff? Why am I getting so excited about it and calling this a master storytelling skill? Especially if you want to be a leader. There's many different reasons. Let's just take one avenue. So you might have heard of something called mirror neurons. So what are mirror neurons? Mirror neurons help us learn very efficiently. So when you start to learn a new skill, and it could be anything, and as you get the foundation in place, you get to a point where when you watch somebody who is very good or excellent at what they do, mirror neurons start to fire and you train your brain and your nervous system to improve on that ability. This is why children learn so exponentially when they're young, because they'll watch you and start to copy what you do. Children will do what you do, not what you tell them to do. Yes, now as soon as you know that, and there's mechanisms in the brain to really sort of cement that home, if you want your children to read, you want them to catch you reading, because they will start to copy that behaviour. Okay, now there's a bit of controversy around mirror neurons, which I always think is healthy because it gets a debate going. So there's two things that will fire off mirror neurons. One is that we say, when you watch other people, what happens is your mirror neurons fire and you start to train your nervous system to behave like that. That's why your role models are so important. The other way you can fire mirror neurons, and remember mirror neurons start to train in neurology and your physiology to do behaviour, is through storytelling. Just take a moment and consider all the possibilities that you could apply story. So you could train people. Do you listen to the great trainers? The people who are inspiring, people who motivate, whether it's throughout history, to today and into the future. Guarantee you, they master the skill of storytelling. And we're going to master that skill on the NLP Business Practitioner. So I hope you're excited about some of the potential behind the NLP Business Practitioner. We've got a course coming up very soon. We have limited places on there. And I would invite you to apply for your place today. And you may get your organisation to pay for it and invest in it, and that's great. But if you are invested in this yourself and you'd like to spread the cost, please let us know. If you've got any questions, then I'm happy to get on the phone, Skype, semaphore, carrier pigeon, however you want to communicate. And let's talk about it. Let's see if the NLP Business Practitioner is right for you. And if you're the type of person who really wants a life filled with purpose, that make a difference, and doesn't settle for average, and want to go to that next level, come and join us on the NLP Practitioner. Okay, there's more information on the site, but if you're ready, go ahead and click that button now, and I would love to see you on the NLP Business Practitioner. So go and make a difference today, live with purpose, and really walk your talk. Looking forward to seeing you then. Till next time, thank you ever so much.